This video is for current supporters of the armed thugs known as ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, and I'm not going to be gentle or nice about this. Some profoundly crappy human beings who wield political power have convinced you to fear and resent and hate an entire category of people. These political fearmongers pointed to some genuinely nasty individuals who are in that category and pointed out bad things they've done, and then over and over again tried to make you associate the entire category of people with those nasty things done by those nasty individuals. And it worked. You fell for that. And what is the defining characteristic of this category of people? Are they people who've threatened and harmed others? Most of them, no, not at all. They're just people who don't have the written permission of politicians to be somewhere. That's it. That's all. Just that. That's what illegal alien means. And those in power have spent huge amounts of time and effort constantly depicting the entire category of people as horrible and immoral and dangerous and scary until you were cheering for the idea of widespread authoritarian force being used not just against those few nasty individuals who actually did bad things, but against that entire category of people, including millions of people who aren't scary or evil. They're good people minding their own business and trying to live their lives. But it was so easy for power-happy political parasites to make you fear and hate the entire category so that you wouldn't just tolerate, you would cheer for and demand massive authoritarian violence, including armed kidnappings, perpetrated against that entire category of people. Of course, all this had already been going on for many years, but those in power got you so scared that you wanted it ramped up even more and carried out in a much more brutal and openly authoritarian manner. So when they talked about militarizing the police to go after that category of people, you cheered for it. They assured you that they only wanted that power to go after super bad people, and you were gullible enough to believe that. And when those in power decided that they should forcibly kidnap and cage people in that category, even shipping them off to literal slave camps in foreign countries without trial and without any shred of due process, you cheered for it. Those in power again assured you that they only wanted that power to use on super bad people, and you were stupid enough to believe them. And when those in power said they needed to be able to do warrantless raids of private property to go after that category of people, you cheered for it. And when they openly declared that habeas corpus doesn't really apply anymore and posse comitatus doesn't really apply anymore because of that scary category of people, you went along with that. You cheered for that. And when gangs of masked, armed thugs, without warrants, without even identifying themselves, were doing paramilitary raids of private homes, of businesses, schools, churches, outright kidnapping people with no criminal record, you still cheered for it because you were so scared of that category of people because your political masters told you to be. Remember back when you complained about your new political savior, that narcissistic megalomaniac, being compared to Hitler? You were so offended. Remember when you scoffed at people calling those attitudes and those policies just a little Nazi-ish? Like mindless sheep, you were duped into hating whomever your political masters told you to hate, and cheering for whatever Gestapo bullshit they said was needed to save you. And then you righteously cheered for and demanded completely arbitrary and unconstitutional authoritarian power to deal with those undesirables, just like the Nazis did, you stupid fascist fucks. Look how easily your supposed political saviors got you to proudly cheer for the annihilation of due process, of habeas corpus, of the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, the Ninth and Tenth Amendments, of anything even vaguely resembling a legal process, the destruction of presumption of innocence, of burden of proof, basically of the entire Constitution, of anything close to a government of limited powers, until you cheered for outright fascist thuggery. Gangs of anonymous armed masked thugs kidnapping people at gunpoint right out in the street in broad daylight in your country. You cheered for it. Help, help, Big Daddy Trump, save us from scary brown foreigners, you bunch of stupid, spineless, immoral fascist pussies. You are every bit the state-worshipping, pathetic slave mentality wimps that the worst of the political left ever were. You're not constitutionalists, you're not conservatives, and you're sure as hell nothing close to freedom fighters. You're a bunch of bootlicking wusses. You don't deserve freedom. You don't even want freedom. You've been loudly and proudly cheering for the exact opposite for many months now because you're a bunch of unprincipled, fear-driven, state-worshipping cowards. And lots of other people, lots of good people in real life are suffering as a result of your unprincipled cowardice and your demand for an authoritarian police state solution to a problem created by government. You even complain about past administrations intentionally causing immigration problems, yet you were too short-sighted, dense, and ignorant to figure out that that was done to get you cheering for less freedom and more authoritarian power. And you did. You fell for it. You are every bit the mindless playthings of political psychopaths as the left ever was. The ruling class played you like pawns. They scared you until you went running to them, demanding more government power and less freedom to protect your sorry asses from the big bad world. The exact same bullshit tactics they've used to dupe people into cheering for gun control. Same tactics they use to dupe people into cheering for endless war. Same tactics they use to get people cheering for socialist handouts and government control of everything under the sun. That's how easy it was for the worst people in the world to dupe you into being zealous cheerleaders for totalitarianism. And the harm from this is not just hitting that category of people that you so idiotically hate. The goal of this authoritarian power and intrusion was never to stop actually bad people. Even though you were too fucking stupid to grasp that, the goal was to dominate and control all the people, including you. It was to set a precedent for unlimited, arbitrary state violence, and you cheered for it. So thanks for helping make America fascist again, you stupid, spineless, statist fools.